Well, I think it's safe to say that the Chicago Bulls are in an absolute freefall. After going 3-8 in their last 11 games, the Chicago Bulls defense that they had at the beginning of the season has all but vanished. The physicality is gone. Trade rumors are propping up like crazy. And we're going to break down the real reason behind the Chicago Bulls collapse and what should the Bulls do? With all these trade rumors around and the assets that the Bulls do have, is it time for the Bulls to make a significant move to change this roster, or should the change in coach happen first? We're talking about all that and more on today's Chicago Bulls Central. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content today, y'all. And I want to start off talking about this. The Bulls are now 3-8 in their last 11 games. That's bad. There's no shape, form, or fashion where any of that's good, right? And when you look at this, I think that it's clear to see where the Bulls are lacking at. The Bulls over this 11-game stretch are 24th defensively, 24th in rebounding percentage over the last 11 games, which is just not good. This is why the Bulls get killed. It's why the Bulls can't really get into a rhythm offensively either, because so much of our offense is based on getting out in transition. When you're getting out-rebounded by other teams, especially with them on the opposing team's offensive rebounds, it's hard to get out in transition. But then on top of that, the Bulls are just settling for bad shots as well. Over the same 11-game stretch, the Bulls are 19th in offensive rating, 8th in turnover percentage, and 4th still in assist percentage, which means the Bulls are still moving the ball around, which is pretty damn good. But here's where the problem is laying at. The Bulls are nearly 45% of the Bulls' total offense is coming from the three-point line, and 51% of all their shots are jump shots as it stands right now. Simply put, the Bulls just aren't attacking the rim. They aren't trying to attack the rim, and they're settling for bad shots out on the perimeter. You remember last season where I said that the Bulls' offense devolved into button mashing? Now, that was while Zach LaVine was still on this roster. That was before the change in the All-Star break, but they devolved into button mashing offense, which basically what I meant by that is they just move the ball around on the perimeter and just jack up threes. And you saw a lot of that in the Hornets loss, and you've seen a lot of that over this last 11 games. The Bulls pass the ball around the perimeter. Nobody's cutting. Nobody's moving off the ball. That was one of the benefits and one of the things that I gave the Bulls and Billy Donovan so much credit for over the beginning part of the season. It felt like we finally unlocked a motion-based offense where everybody was moving off the ball, which then on top of that with our passing of the ball, it created so many lanes and opportunities for this team. And yeah, we still took a high percentage of three-point shots, right? But they were more quality three-point shots because we were manipulating the defense because we were actually moving the ball and also moving without the ball. It's great that we still have a really good assist percentage. It means that the team is still moving the ball, but you see more players standing around out on the perimeter. There's 4 players standing on the perimeter. Nobody's cutting. It's usually one player in the paint. That's usually Vooch or another player, and that's just it. It's not going to cut it, right? The Bulls are not attacking enough to have any type of semblance to where this version of the offense is going to work if you're not moving. Let's compare that to the first 7 games where the Bulls went 6-1. We were 8th in defensive rating, 11th in offensive rating. We were the 7th best rebounding team in the league. Only 30% of our shots were three-pointers and 40% were jump shots. So you're seeing that we've uptick our total offense up 15% from three as far as three-point takes. That's not good. Not when you're not hitting them at a really good rate. It'll be different if the Bulls were one of the most elite three-point shooting teams in the league. You think back to the Boston Celtics of the last couple of years, they were such a good team with three-point shooting that, yeah, over 50% of their offense were three-pointers because they were hitting them at a great rate. The Bulls now, you're a team that's 45% of your total offense is taking three-pointers, and you're just not good enough to be taking that number of three-point shots. And so that goes to part of the problem with the Chicago Bulls. That's just, you're not going to cut it if you get there. And yeah, we're averaging the 5th most points in the league as far as points scored per game. The problem is what we're giving up defensively in that time period as well. This pace shit for the Chicago Bulls right now is not working. It's not working. And so because of that, you're seeing this team struggle in the areas where they were benefiting from before. Also, in that first 7-game stretch, the Bulls were the 7th best rebounding team in the entirety of basketball. You've now fallen down to 24th in rebounding. That is drastically going to change the looks that you're getting offensively. It's going to drastically change the way that defenses can play on you as well. When you aren't getting defensive rebounds enough, and the opposing team on the offensive side of the ball, that of course opens them up to second chance points. No shit there. But then on top of that, that means that they are setting up on the defense. You are not taking advantage of defenses that don't have a chance to set up, which then it makes it more difficult for you. That's what it goes down to. And despite what some Bulls fans will have you believe, this isn't just on Coby. It's not even just on Vooch. And it's not just on Billy Donovan. This stems from execution, lazy defensive effort, and lazy play overall. And yes, the lack of adjustments and accountability from your coaching staff as well. It's a Venn diagram of shit going on with the Bulls, and where it overlaps. There's some problems with coaching. There's some problems with player performance, and there's some problems with the front office, yet again giving us this roster that lacks certain things that you need to be a consistently good team in this league. It is a Venn diagram of shit. I've seen people want to blame just Coby. I've seen people want to just blame Billy Donovan. I've seen people want to just blame Vooch or whatever else it is. It's not those things. It's not just the injuries either, right? It's a combination of a number of things going on. I said on yesterday's daily episode, this was the last chance for a reset. Now, I'm not going to say that one game has completely ruined that chance as a reset. I was talking about the next 5 games overall, so hopefully the Bulls can find a way to be much better over these next 4 games left on this stretch than they have been the last 2 of the stretch. This was supposed to be a stretch of 7 easier games for the Chicago Bulls, right? After starting off the season with the toughest schedule in the NBA, this was supposed to be a stretch where the Bulls could start making their move back and stacking some wins against inferior opponents. But instead, we're seeing the Bulls fight for their lives out there. Now, they play again today against the Indiana Pacers, which is good. They have this game tonight against the Pacers. But it's just, this team has not performed in a way to where you can have any faith in what this team is doing with anything right now. And it comes down to, a lot of it is down to heart, it's down to fight, and it's down to the desire of wanting it more. And this Bulls team is giving up against teams that want it more than the Chicago Bulls consistently, and they show it, right? So, yes, Billy Donovan and his coaching is a problem. Yes, the team and their lackadaisical effort is absolutely a problem. But it's not just one of those things, it's all of those things. Every single player on this roster has a part in where the problems lie for this team and where it stands right now. Every single one of them. I don't care what the stat lines show. I don't care any of that. Every single player has a part into this. And until they want to, as a team, overcome this and fight, this is going to be where the Bulls are this season. Again, there are no more chances at a reset. Can over these next 4 games or 4 games, can you find a path to that? Maybe. We'll see, right? But now the Bulls have secured another losing week this week, right? You've already lost 2 out of the 3 games this week. This is a losing week. You could not win the week this week. And so now that faces like, okay, what do you do now as a team to overcome some of this? And I tell you what, I don't have faith in the way that they've been performing to get that done. They got to stop playing down the level of competition. This team has talent on it. I'm going to keep saying that because I do believe this team has talent on it. It may not have the star level talent that people look at to surefire be like, oh, well, this team's going to be this, but they have talent on it, and the talent fits. You just have to actually want it. This team has collectively lost its heart. And for that, it then brings the question about that many people are asking, has Billy Donovan lost this team? And my answer to that has kept being that, well, I think these players still believe in Billy by the way they talk and those type of things, but like the proof is in the pudding. You can like somebody but not want to play for them. And that's the problem where this team could very well be at. I'm not saying for sure that they are, but that could very well be where this team is at, is that, hey, maybe they all like Billy Donovan fine and dandy, but are they playing for Billy Donovan? I don't feel like they are. I don't feel like they're playing for each other anymore. I either, to be 100% honest with you, which then brings us to the last thing that I want to talk about in this one. Is it time for a major trade for the Chicago Bulls, right? I know that AK doesn't want to give up his long-term flexibility. I know that he doesn't want to give up any first-round picks after giving up so many to build the last version of the team. But is it time for that, right? Or is it time to make a move for a player that's going to help this? Or is it time to stack assets? The Bulls have been linked to AD, Domantas Sabonis, and Trey Murphy in recent weeks, right? Those are some of the players that the Bulls have been linked to. Trey Murphy trade is the one that I still like the most. I think it makes the most sense for the Bulls from a long-term financial standpoint when you look at him making, I think, $31 million in the last year of the deal. But That's not for another 3 years. You got 3 more years of Trey Murphy. He's a two-way player that can definitely help with that and add some of that identity to this team. I love the concept of that, but it does nothing for a center play. It does nothing for the defensive big that we need there at the center position. And that's the thing that you have to ask yourself as well. Is it that going to even be enough? So I don't know what this team does. And I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't know. AK said that this part was going to be different. And I wish I felt that way. But so far, it seems like, once again, AK has built the team that he came into the season with, and it's still wait and see. Now, let me fight against my own point. We haven't got to see this version of the team fully healthy yet. And there could be something to be said of, hey, Zach Collins is supposed to make his return on Monday. Then let's use the whole month of December, maybe even half of January, to really evaluate what this team looks like fully healthy, and then start making some decisions before the February trade deadline. Maybe that's the case. And I'll give them some leeway for that, because there is still some things that make sense in wanting to see your team fully healthy. But at the same time, you can't continue sitting on your hands. Now, no team in the NBA has made a big trade yet. So I'm not going to hold that against the Bulls that they haven't either. But as this trade deadline continues to approach, if the struggles continue, what are you going to do, AK? And that's the question that a lot of Bulls fans are waiting for, and that's the question that a lot of Bulls fans don't have confidence in, because we've seen what AK has done, or lack thereof, in the past. And I guess we'll see what's going to happen there. But with that said, I want to thank you guys for tuning in for that part. Let's go ahead and get into the mailbag. It is Saturday, and this is mailbag day around here. This first voicemail, this one is from Buzelis Fan.
Hey, what's the word, man? It's your boy Buzelis Fan, or Clutch. I don't know which one you know me as, but man, brother, I'm watching this Domantas Sabonis and Trey Murphy video, how we're linked to them. Just wanted to get some quick thoughts before I forget. One big one, I fully agree about the Sabonis points about it being just another Vooch. I think that makes perfect sense. I don't think that it's worth it in the grand scheme of things. He's locked into that. I don't know if that's on a bird right or if it's just a scaling, like a back percentage scaling contract. But for it to go from 45 to 48, that's just money we can use to go get a free agent center. Like, you could throw the book at Jalen Duren, who's a restricted free agent next year, and make the Pistons pay that shit. You know what I mean? Make them match that shit. There's a couple different options you can go with that to where I'm not so worried. As far as the Trey Murphy, I know you were saying Zach Collins, P. Will, a couple draft picks, and then either Io or Coby. Honestly, even if it is either Io or Coby, I truly believe that Trey Murphy III would be an upgrade in either position. Now, I'm not downplaying our guys. You know, I love Io. He's homegrown. He creates tenacity and two-way, and he's very self-reflective. Like that interview that he had about Coach Billy Donovan telling them exactly what to do, and they were just running to the glass instead of boxing out. Stuff like that. I love that he can look back, see where the mistake was made, and then try to put his best foot forward to go fix it. It reminds me very much so of a Caruso. I think he got a lot of game from those type of guys being his best. And then as well as Coby White. Great scorer. I think he gives effort every single night. I think he's no nonsense, but I do believe Trey Murphy at 6'8", he might be a little bit taller or shorter, give or take 1 inch, but at that size and his two-way ability and the fact that he's not a on-ball scorer, he can also play off the ball, but he can also take that pressure of being an on-ball scorer. I think it's just an upgrade, point blank, period. And then I love the points you made about in the draft, even if you combine the Portland and the Bulls pick, are you finding somebody as good as Trey Murphy? And I don't think you are. I think he fits our timeline, and the fact that he's locked in 2028, amazing pull. And then the only thing I want to double back to, I know we were talking about fixing the Bulls defense, and I have, just to give for a warning, I have not fully listened to this point yet. But I remember I left a voicemail a little while back, and we were talking about our rankings, and we were ranked like top 10 offense, top 10 defense at that time. I think it was after that first Knicks loss. But I remember telling you, I don't know if it was on Spotrac or what it was, but they said, damn, Haize, I spoke too long. All I was going to say is Buzelis Fan again, but all I was going to say is on Spotrac, with the shots we give up, if people shot league average at those shots that we actually give up, we would have been actually ranked 29th instead of 10th in terms of defense. And I think we're seeing that now. Agree with you. We need a rim protector at the center position. We need a lob threat at the center position. That's it, Haize. I appreciate your time, brother. Have a blessed one, man. I appreciate the content. Love you. See red.
All right, so first thing I'm gonna say here, bro, is like your handle's fine, but use your name. Like part of the thing that we like to do here with Chicago Bulls Central is that we like to get to know the people. So use your name. It can even be your nickname, but use your name. I doubt anybody in the streets is calling you Buzelis fan. But with that said, I agree with you. No knock on Sabonis. Sabonis is a perfectly fine player. He's one of the double-double leaders every year. He can also get a triple-double because he is really good at facilitating. Not so much this year, but I think that's more how they're using the offense there. But I agree with you. If you're going to spend $40 million, I would rather go all in on a player that actually brings the defensive mindset you need from the center position. That's just my personal opinion on that, right? I would rather go out and put an offer sheet of $40 million, like you said, on Jalen Duren, that also forces the Pistons staff to pay him, even if they do match it, and put them in a financial bind. And then turn around and then let's say, hey, let's try to sign Walker Kessler. Let's try to sign maybe a Mark Williams to bring in some defensive mindedness here. Now, I keep saying if it is Mark Williams that the Bulls end up trying to pursue in free agency, I'd much rather them, do that. But you still got to find a center of your future. He's way too injured to bet on just him, right? But that's the thing that I would look at for this team. But I agree with you on the Trey Murphy thing as well. Trey Murphy would be damn near perfect for this Bulls team. Got to see if they're going to get it done. Yeah. All right, let's get into this next one, man. This one's from Joda.
Haize. It's Joda. I don't know, man. I don't know. Watch that game. It was pathetic. I'd say it's not garbage, but I don't think that's strong enough of a phrase right now. Fucking pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. Like, I was so pissed. Shit, man. I was fucking throwing things across the room. I kicked my dog, and then my son reminded me we don't have a fucking dog. I'm like, who the fuck did I just kick? I'm so fucking pissed. And you're right. I mean, well, of course you're fucking right. But you're right. I mean, we need to run more. We need to cut more. We need defense. There's so many things that this team needs. I don't even know why the fuck I'm watching anymore, man. I mean, for that one stretch that we actually do something, I don't know, man. Of course I'll keep fucking watching and I'll keep seeing red, but man, my fucking pissed. Later, dude.
Kicking the imaginary dog is wild, but I'm glad that you did clarify it wasn't an imaginary dog, that you didn't actually have a dog, because then I would have had to report you, bro. If you're kicking the dogs, I would have had to report you. Nah, I'm just playing with you. But yeah, being pissed in this team is legit. Being disappointed in this team's effort, watching this team play, and you see the lack of effort, the lack of desire, the lack of passion from this team, it's evident, and it makes you feel shitty. Because at the bare minimum, and I've said this at the beginning of the season, when all Chicago wants to do is see a team that fights. And this team has no fight. There's no bite in this team at all. These Bulls don't have horns. So, in that part of it, it's going to be extremely disappointing to see the way that this team performs, especially against the level of competition they've been facing off against recently. So, hopefully they can get it together and they can tighten that shit the fuck up, because they need to. And if they do, things should start looking a little bit brighter for them. But, man, they're going to have to really dig in and try to get that to happen. All right, let's get into this next voicemail, man. This one is from Los.
CEO Haize, what is up? This is Los calling in the day after the Bulls lost to the Pelicans. I was at the game. Bulls came out, no energy. They just didn't have it. And I didn't know Vooch was out until I got to the game and saw Patrick Williams on the floor. What? And I was like, it's no other option. I guess it was just Jalen Smith. I would prefer that he had started. But I really hope the Bulls have a plan to train Vooch's replacement center, or get a starting consistent caliber center. But the Pelicans got whatever they wanted inside. And Brother Haize, to sum up their first half, too many turnovers as a team. Josh had too many turnovers. Coby had too many turnovers. I think at one point Coby had back-to-back-to-back turnovers, 3 in a row. And from where I was sitting, he should have had another one, but I think they gave the credit to that to somebody else. So too many threes that weren't going in except a few at the end of the first half. Second half, all night the Bulls would drive the ball into the lane somewhat, but not enough. Like they were scared to go inside. And their rebounding was atrocious. Bulls were just too small to go up against the Pelicans. And they need to address that too. And they only come here, New Orleans, once a year. So this is 2 years in a row that the Bulls had a loss. That inside paint defense, the rebounding, that's been a problem for a while now, 17 games in. I hope they really address this and do something about it. Once again, Brother Haize, thank you for this platform to call in and participate. And thank you, Brother Haize, for having the best Bulls content on the planet. Go Bulls, see red, if you can. Now I know why you say if you can. All right, later, Brother Haize.
Disappointing as hell. I mean, I really don't know what else to say about this team. It's disappointing as hell. Not just because of the way that we started, but even take that away. Just looking at this team in the vacuum, just taking each game as its own separate thing and looking at the way that this team has performed, this team is disappointing. And the effort is disappointing. And watching this team go out there, settle for bad shots, you know, what other teams get tough on us down the stretch, the Bulls wither away, all those type of things are hugely disappointing by this team. Now, let's see if they're going to turn around. Let's see if they're going to tighten it up. But as it stands right now, I can't blame anybody for being disappointed in where this team is right now because it sucks, because the Bulls are playing like ass right now. And let's hope that they can turn that around sooner rather than later. All right, let's get into the last voicemail for today, man. This one is from Shay.
What's up, guys? It's Shay. Look, after the loss against Charlotte, old adage is starting to creep up that you brought up. Maybe we have hung on for too long to a certain regime. Not necessarily players, but I feel like this is what happens when you hang up. And I remember you said this when we had DeMar and Zach. This is probably what happens when you hang on to something for too long. And in our case, it's us hanging on to Billy Donovan way too long. Look, man, I know Billy Donovan ain't going nowhere, but I mean, if this is not a sign that AK probably needs to move on, man, I don't know what to do, because I don't think a shot blocker, I don't think a new team will help this. You need a whole new regime change. Now again, I know Billy Donovan's not going nowhere, so I might as well save my breath. But the old adage of this is what happens when you hang on to something for too long, and I feel like we've hung on to Billy Donovan for too long. It's time to move on from him, because this right here, this ain't gonna do. It's not gonna do. Anyway, tell me what you think. Peace.
Is losing a sign that the Bulls need to move on from Billy Donovan? Just to wither your question down, just one overall arching question, I'll say this, Shay. Maybe. I'll say that maybe. And the thing that worries me with that is that even if that is the resolution, I have my concerns on if this team would be willing, ready, and able to do that, or do what it takes to move on, if that's what it takes to move on from Billy Donovan, like to actually get this team to the next level. I have my reservations on if this front office would do it. They love Billy Donovan. Jerry Reinsdorf, Michael Reinsdorf love Billy Donovan. And that's usually a recipe for somebody keeping their job for about a decade here in Chicago, if that ends up being the case. Billy Donovan's on year, 5 or 6 now? So I just don't know if they're willing to do that. I do think that's a fair question that you have to ask yourself as the struggles continue on with this season. But I just don't know if the front office and ownership would do it. I don't know if they have the balls to do it. And I'm not even on Mike Malone. I'd rather have Taylor Jenkins than Mike Malone, but I just don't know if this team's going to do it. I guess we shall see. But that's it for today's episode, guys. Thank you guys for leaving those voicemails. As always, man, I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. As always, this stretch has been rough. But if we keep it honest, if we keep it real, and we keep it Chicago more importantly than anything, this team needs to find their identity again, and they need to keep it tough. So, we appreciate you guys. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. If you're listening on the podcast side, go over to the YouTube side. Hit the subscribe button there, help the channel grow. If you're a YouTube watcher, go over to the podcast, leave a 5-star review over on the podcast side. Helps the podcast grow even if you guys don't listen to the podcast version. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following us at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. BullsCentralPod@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, stay safe, see red, and always go Bull. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.